we had a ICU nurse in a veterans hospital basically assassinated by ICE, and I've got the receipts to back up this claim. A lot of people are, going to have to open their eyes to what's happening here because, man, I'm telling you right now, after Renee Good, after multiple other shootings, and now this guy, Mr. Pretti, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. The United States is a powder keg that is about to erupt. But what I want to do right now is I want to show the receipts of all the research that I've done today on what happened exactly in Minneapolis, Minnesota, how he ended up dying, and how I believe that this is 100% at the I mean, I can't even say it's reckless homicide anymore. This is just homicide. When you go up and you intentionally attack somebody and then you put them on the ground and you disarm them, so they are absolutely no threat. They were not brandishing a weapon. They were not issuing any threats. And then you shoot them 10 times. I'll let you be the judge. Right now, you're the jury. Okay. I'm the prosecutor. I'm going to show the evidence of why these ICE agents, every single one of them, should be charged with murder and accomplices to murder after today's tragedy. Let's get into it. So the first video I'm going to show you is from somebody that's inside a car recording as the entire incident starts right in front of their car. And then we're going to go through some different angles. I want to go through each angle and I want to point out exactly why I believe that these ICE officers are in fact guilty of murder. Whoa! So, right off of the gate, you see this ICE officer initiate contact by throwing somebody to the ground, a woman. You then see them immediately pull out their pepper spray and start pepper spraying Alex Pretti in the face. He's holding up his hand, trying to block the pepper spray, turning his head. He even fully turns his body completely away. Again, Pretti has his back turned to the ICE agents. They continue to engage and ramp up this altercation. They push people to the ground. Now they're pulling in. Again, Pretti still has his back turned to the agents. And this is a critical piece of evidence because of what I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, which is the narrative of the federal government. Now you see here, Pretti is being tackled down to the ground. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but I'm going to show you another one. There's a guy who just entered the fray here. He's wearing a gray jacket and a gray hat. He's right behind these two agents. He's literally disarming Mr. Pretti. Now, this whole time, Pretti had his legal firearm in his back, in his holster, concealed. He had a permit to do that. It's within his constitutional amendment rights. He never brandished it, and he never threatened anybody with it, according to all the video evidence that we have. This agent sees it as they're tackling him down to the ground. He sees a gun in his back, so he reaches in to grab it and disarm him, which he does. I'll show you more evidence of this here in a minute. Now they pan the camera right there. He's just pulled the gun away. Now watch, the gun is secure. There's no reason to shoot this man. He is face down on the ground. Holy First shot goes off. Oh my God! Followed up by 10 more. Now we're going to go through some more evidence here, more angles. So just stay tuned with me. All right. Now this angle is critical because as this was coming out, people were saying that ICE didn't disarm him. He had the weapon in his hand. I want you to pay attention to both Alex Pretti, who has nothing in his hands as he's being tackled to the ground, but also the man in the gray jacket and hat. Watch this. There he is right there. The man in the gray jacket, the gray hat, walks up as the altercation is taking place. He begins to move himself to the back to get into it. This is where he sees the weapon, obviously. Now look, prior to this, he does not have anything in his hands. Watch. Right here, he's going to come out with it. Right there, in his hand. Now the first shot takes place. That is Mr. Pretti's firearm, his legally registered firearm, in this ICE agent's hand. He is taking it. It is secure. Then they shoot him. Alex Pretti was not armed when he was shot in the back and then in the face and the chest. But people are going to say, not good enough. We need more evidence. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, here on this angle, I want you to see, again, there are, I believe, a couple of women here and Alex Pretti, and then the ICE agents who, again, they come up to him. He's on the side of the road at this point, not threatening anybody. They have his back turned and they are assaulting him as well as the other two bystanders here. Now you see Alex Pretti is trying to help this woman up. You have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ICE agents here. The seventh one comes running over. Now you have 3 ICE agents pinning him down to the ground. Pay very close attention here. He is on all 4. His hands and knees are on the ground.
What's wrong with you? Honestly.
He is facing the ground. His hands are right here below this agent's legs. Again, nowhere near his firearm, and he hasn't said anything about a firearm. You can see the man in gray getting into the fray here. Clearly, he's reaching into the back of Alex Pretti, which now his weapon has been exposed because of the fact that his jacket has been pulled up through the struggle. There you can see him literally disarming him, because now this was a lot of the question that I seen in the comments today. Oh, well, from that angle, the previous angle, you can't tell if he's disarming him or if that's his own weapon. Well, here you can clearly see his hands are in the back of Alex Pretti down by his butt crack, and he pulls out the weapon. There it goes. He pulls out the weapon. He turns to remove the weapon from the scene, which if you're disarming any type of suspect, that's what you do. You take his weapon away from him and you remove it from the scene. This is why the pictures that they tried to release later on is of a firearm that is in the vehicle, probably of the ICE agent, sitting on the seat, not at the scene of the crime, which means when Pretti was shot, that gun was far removed from his body. There goes the first shot right there. Now you can see here, first of all, you have an ICE agent firing into the suspect while still being surrounded by 4 other ICE agents. So for any federal government agency to come out and say that he was following training, you are cross-firing right into your fellow agents. I guarantee you that's not how you get trained. But that's what happens. The first shot goes off, and now you see several more. Again, Pretti is facing the ground. Now he's face down on the ground. Now he's already dead. They fire 5 or 6 more shots into him. He is absolutely no threat to anybody. If that's not murder, then the whole definition of murder gets thrown out the window. But hey, maybe this guy's a domestic terrorist. Maybe he was there to cause mass casualty event. He went there with the intent of murdering ICE agents. Or at least that's what this, I'll just say person, because I'm having a hard time calling her a human being, in Christy Nome.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
But see, Christy, there's a problem. We have multiple video footage of the entire counter from beginning to the end. And not one time did Alex Pretti present a firearm to the federal agents. Not at all. He never reached for it. He never mentioned it. Nothing. They had no idea that he had a gun on him.
The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Ah, but yet another lie, Christy Nome. See, again, because the video footage that I just broke down clearly shows that Alex Pretti, A, never presented a firearm, and B, he was a lawfully concealed carry permit holder in the state of Minnesota, which is his constitutionally protected right. He wasn't brandishing it and he wasn't threatening anybody with it. And he was successfully disarmed when an agent noticed it in his back holster. Therefore, everything that you just said gets disproved, Christy Nome.
Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots.
Okay, so here's the thing. You can't fire defensive shots if you're not being shot at. Because if you're firing first, that's offense. That's the very definition of offense. Offense means you go first, like if you're playing chess, right? And you're going to go on the offense. Let's say you're the white piece, and the white piece goes first. You put your pawn out there. Now the black piece goes in defense against that pawn. That's how the very definition of offense and defense works. But in the MAGA universe, we live in the twilight zone where everything is flipped upside down and reality really doesn't mean anything. The definition of words doesn't mean anything anymore. You could just throw out whatever you want and MAGAville will absolutely swallow it hook, line, and sinker. And it happens every single time. I get it in my comments every single day.
Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead.
But see, that's another problem. See, the medics didn't attempt to save his life. The agents, the ICE agents, were searching for the gun. Because they couldn't find it on his body. Oh, that's because I already showed another ICE agent ran off with the man's lawfully permitted weapon.
At the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds.
Again, nothing illegal about that unless you're brandishing it and threatening people with it or using it in a criminal offense.
He also had no ID. This looks
also not a criminal offense.
like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals.
Again, you have absolutely no evidence that he had any intent to inflict any damage or death upon federal agents.
And to kill law enforcement.
Again, zero evidence of this. Did he make some type of a terrorist video saying he was going to do that? And if so, why was he just holding his phone? Why wasn't he holding his gun, Christy Nome? Again, it's the MAGAverse twilight zone where everything just gets flipped upside down. Truth is falsehood, falsehood is truth. What they're basically telling everybody to do is not believe your eyes, believe your ears of whatever the Trump administration tells you to do. If they tell you it's sunny outside, even if it's 30 below, cloudy, and the biggest snowstorm in the history of America, you're just supposed to believe that it's 75 degrees and perfect weather and sunny, and you should just go out in a bathing suit. That's the type of psychotic narrative that these people live in. And unfortunately, the MAGAverse people believe it. Oh, but she's not the only one. They're rolling out the whole train of these psychopaths. Check this one out.
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
So again, clearly the evidence shows otherwise. What is in his hand in this picture? It is his cell phone. He did not approach officers with a brandished firearm.
The agents attempted to disarm the individual.
Nope, they didn't. they attempted to mace him and then pistol whip him with their own weapons and beat the living crap out of him. And it was only because they were doing that, then one agent realized this guy has a concealed carry on his back, strips it from him, and then they shoot him to death.
But he violently resisted.
Again, if you're down on your hands and knees, that's not violently anything. That's a submissive posture. It's a defensive posture. You're just not trying to get beat to hell. He wasn't swinging, he wasn't kicking, and he definitely wasn't reaching for his firearm.
For his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots.
Again, you hear that? Do you think that these people didn't immediately come together and say, okay, what's our strategy here? Oh, okay, so he did X, he did Y, he did Z, and the agent feared X, Y, Z, and did X, Y, Z, and they just put this whole narrative together, and now they're just rolling out all of these government trolls like Greg Bovino here to say the exact same thing. This is the exact narrative manipulation that 1930s Hitler used on his population. The population will begin to believe a lie if they hear enough people saying the exact same thing over and over and over. Now, after all of this, what is the response of the state police, governor, the mayor? What did they have to say about this? Well, Mayor Jacob Frey issued a strongly worded message to the federal government that they need to have a period of self-reflection.
This is not a partisan issue. This is an American issue. This administration and everyone involved in this operation should be reflecting. They should be reflecting right now and asking themselves, what exactly are you accomplishing?
Well, I'll tell you what they're accomplishing, Mr. Jacob Frey. They're accomplishing whatever in the world they want because spineless politicians like you are not willing to risk yourself to save the American democracy. You're just going to get up there and you're going to issue these meaningless little statements, and absolutely nothing's going to change. He has his police chief standing right behind him. Is his police chief coming out saying, yep, we've issued arrest warrants for the ICE agents. We're bringing them in for questioning. They are the main suspects in this murder case? No. He issued his own little strongly worded reflection type message to the federal government that they just need to raise their standards up a little bit. And then you had the governor come out issuing again another worthless speech and then saying that he's activated the state police and the National Guard. She did. But did he do it to protect the people of Minneapolis and Minnesota? No. He did it to push protesters away from ICE in order to protect ICE. You literally have footage of state troopers tackling protesters and beating them just like ICE just did to this guy.
Kill yourself! This is a fucking confrontation! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Go fuck yourself! I can't breathe! Get off of me! Leave him alone!
The only difference is they ain't shooting the protesters, at least yet. I've said this many times here on this program. This is why I'm not a Democrat, and it's why I'm not a Republican. Because they're two sides of the same demonic coin. And as speaking of demonic, we also had to have Miss Erica Kirk, Miss America Erica Kirk, even though she didn't stand a chance about being Miss America. But we had her pine in on this. And, of course, she was just absolutely disgusting.
Do you think these protests are helping? personally, I do not. I think it's demonic.
She thinks protests are demonic. Protesting Americans being shot in the face by an out-of-control federal agency is demonic. And she said this at a church. It just goes to show you, listen, the MAGA-verse people, there is no compromising with them. There is no negotiating with them because they are living out a fantasy, a sick fantasy through every death and abuse that ICE carries out on brown and black people and white people who are considered left, because that's what they want to do. They live in a fantasy world where they want to see a civil war where they get to arm up and go and do some raping and pillaging of libs and Muslims and blacks and Latinos and Asians, where they get to just rape and pillage and get away with it. And that's what they're praying for. That's what they're hoping for. It comes to fruition where Trump goes and cancels the election so that the Democrats can't win and that they forever just stay in power. And then you'll start to have some pushback from people on the left and even people on the right who don't want to live in a dictatorship. And then Trump will give them the green light to start these militias to go around and do the American check. Well, what kind of American are you? You speak plain English? You speak American? That's what they want. But it gets worse.
This morning, I was in contact with the Minneapolis Police Department after the incident that you're all familiar with now. They requested our Force Investigations Unit respond to the scene and conduct such an independent investigation as we have in other recent incidents in the city of Minneapolis. What occurred was our team responded to the scene, and I was in contact with federal authorities to inform them that that was going to occur and that we were responding to the scene in Minneapolis. When our team arrived, they were blocked by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security from accessing the scene.
Yeah. So now DHS has come out and said that they will investigate themselves. It kind of sounds like the IDF coming out and telling America when they kill an American citizen in Palestine, oh, we'll investigate ourselves. Don't worry about it. And then you have our sleazy politicians come out and be like, well, we just got to trust the Israeli, the Israeli investigation. We got to let the process play out, They're blocking a state agency from investigating a homicide in their state. That is so abnormal. You do not ever see that. It is always a joint investigation between the feds and the state when a federal agent kills somebody in that state. They don't block them from accessing the scene. That's the state of affairs that we're in right now. What are your thoughts on this? Share this. Follow for more to stay up to date. Stay free. Stay safe.
Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render our honor and our gratitude.